spending time with her husband, friends, family, including her 12 grandchildren. In her spare time, she connects and celebrates with the women involved in motorsports, taking you behind the wall about their journey of life, racing, and how they juggle everything to make it all work. Welcome to Racing Girls Rock Podcast. Strap in, window nets up, the pedals are down, and when the green flag drops, we go.
Hello, everyone. This is Melinda Russell with the International Women's Motorsports Association, and this is another episode of Racing Girls Rock Podcast, which today is sponsored by iRacing.com and RacingJunk.com. If you're not familiar with iRacing, check it out. There's a lot of cool races now on FS1 during the coronavirus. And so you can actually watch the iRacing races on your television. And then RacingJunk.com has all kinds of things for sale. You should check it out. One of our best sponsors, and we appreciate all their support. So today my guests are Donelle and Rylie Mullin. I met them at PRI this last year, and we had a very nice conversation with the two of them. And so we've become friends just from getting to meet each other. They live in Iowa, so I asked them if they'd like to be on the podcast since we're all confined due to the coronavirus, and they were kind enough to say they would be. So welcome to the podcast, ladies.
Thank you for having us.
Sure. So let's get started, Donelle. I'm going to ask you to tell us a little bit about yourself and your family. We know Rylie, but I know there's other family members, you know. Where do you live? Do you have pets? Anything you want to share about your family?
We live in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. We also have a son that is getting ready to turn, he'll be 25 tomorrow. We have two grandchildren. One is 3, and then the other one is 8 months old. And we do have 2 dogs. We have 2 Alaskan Malamutes, so they keep us very busy as well. And then we have my mother-in-law. She lives around the corner from us, so we've been, talking with her mostly on the phone because she's been staying confined too. So,
and of course, you have Rylie.
Just trying to keep in touch.
And Rylie, who's
and of course I have Rylie. Yeah.
And Rylie, how old are you?
I'm 15.
15. So you had your kids apart, 10 years apart. I did that too.
Yeah.
I had 2 sets of kids. My older 2 were 2 years apart, and then I waited 10 years, and then I had 2 more. So I get the spacing deal.
Yeah, it's actually kind of nice.
It is kind of nice because honestly, it's kind of like they were only children, like Rylie. Yeah. So it is kind of nice, and a boy and a girl. That's nice too. So we met at PRI last year, and so Rylie, why don't you start and tell us a little bit about how you got started in racing? Who got you started? What have you been racing? Tell us a little bit about your racing story.
Okay, so it started, I worked at Hawkeye Downs, and we were always around racing. And it actually started as a joke, and I was like, oh, I want to race. And one of the Hornet drivers actually let me in his car, and then I just fell in love with it, and we actually ended up buying that car. And yeah, and I raced 4 cylinders on asphalt and dirt, and yeah.
So how old were you? How many years ago was it that you started racing?
I was, say 13.
Well, at the time when she was practicing, she was actually 13.
Yeah.
And then last year was her rookie season,
and
so she was 14.
Okay. And hopefully we're all going to go back to racing here at some point. And so it'll be your second year. And is Hawkeye Downs then where you're going to be racing? Yeah. So I'm
actually going to be racing.
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm actually going to be racing with the Midwest Compact Touring Series and traveling, so that'll be fun.
That will be fun, and that'll give me a chance, hopefully, to be able to watch you race, because those guys are friends of mine. And I know you met another young gal that races with them, Leah Howie. And so that would be cool if the two of you could race together somewhere. That would be a lot of fun. So yeah, that's good. I'm glad to hear you're going to do some of that traveling as once we get to be able to do that for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. We've been watching, and like I said, we're going forward with fixing the car and whatnot. So the people at Midwest are really, really nice. So we look forward, to racing with them too.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a big race. They usually have a big race in Kalamazoo. I don't know what the schedule's going to look like now, but that's 15 minutes from my house. So I've got my guest room all ready for you. So when that happens, you guys can come and hang out. I also have a camper, so you can stay in the camper too. So
Awesome.
yeah. So what do you like most about racing, Riley? You're a girl. You could be playing softball or doing all kinds of things. What is it about racing that is so attractive to you?
I personally enjoy like being in the pits with all of like my friends and having a good time together, because that's what makes like a big part of it. But I like also enjoy like the adrenaline you have, because it's just like so fun and it's like a rush.
Yeah, absolutely. I have never driven a race car in a race. I did drive one of my son's race cars around a track. There was nobody else on the track, so I know it's not nearly the same. But it's just such a totally different experience than what I even thought it was going to be. So I can't even imagine what it would be like to actually be in a race. But I'm sure there's a lot of adrenaline and excitement and a little bit scared in your stomach and all that put together. So what are your girlfriends, your classmates, what do they think about you as a race car driver?
They all like think it's like super cool, and I enjoy that because like it's a lot of support and I really like it, and they just see me as like another person, but they also think it's really cool that I race.
Right. So Donelle, when she said, "Oh, I want to race," what were your first thoughts?
No. No, she's pretty competitive, so we made sure that we got her all the right safety gear that she needed. I mean, she has a Hans device, she has, her suit, her helmet, a full containment seat that we ended up buying for her car. So I knew she was safe in the car and she's in good hands with all the people that help her in the pits. There's been a few times, like when she went to Rockford for Brahma brackets, when she kind of got pushed up the wall and went up the wall, I kind of got a little nervous because I thought she was going to flip her car over. But the fire and safety crew and everyone, at every track that we go to, they're always on it. So I know that she's safe.
Right.
But yeah, I'm glad that she chose to do it because she's good at it, and she does archery, which both of them, she's very competitive.
Yeah, I knew she did archery. So, can you tell me, is there anything about doing archery and racing a car that you've learned, like from one sport that helps you in the other?
Mainly like focus, because like in a race car, you obviously can't just like zone off and like not pay attention. And in archery, you obviously have to focus and make sure every arrow is correct. And that's mainly what I've learned from both.
Okay. And you're pretty good at archery, aren't you? Kind of what I've been told.
Yeah.
So what kind of success have you had in that?
So I made it to state my second year, and then I made it to state and nationals. And then I went to state this year, and I actually qualified for nationals, but it got canceled due to like the coronavirus, and
Right.
It sucks.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. I feel bad for all the kids that missed out on, like the basketball finals, and the baseball and softball can't compete, and all those kids that run track and all those different things, and especially kids that graduated this year. I just feel like they've really gotten cheated out of so much. And I feel bad. I feel bad for them as much as anybody, because those are lifetime experiences that I can still remember the day I graduated eons ago. And these kids are not going to have that memory. And I just feel bad for them. But we're going to
Yeah,
get to it.
one of her close friends is getting, it was his senior year, and his name is Logan, and he, I think about it all the time that, I think back when I was a senior and getting ready to graduate, that they don't get that experience, and it's, it's truly hard. So
It really is. Hopefully, this summer at some point, they'll all get to have some kind of big parties, or they can figure something out, because they need to have some kind of special memory. So
I agree.
Rylie, yeah, Rylie, you and Donelle, do you, either one of you, have either a piece of advice that has stuck with you, or do you have a favorite quote or saying that you'd like to share?
Don't junk it.
Don't junk it. That's a good piece of advice.
Right.
My one piece of advice would just be to like make sure you have like all your safety equipment and that you're like safe so you don't get hurt, because it'll actually really save you in the long run.
Yeah, exactly. Spend it up front so that you have it. That's for sure. Yeah. So Rylie,
sure.
have you raced at other tracks besides Hawkeye Downs so far?
I raced at Rockford, and then on dirt I raced at Dubuque.
Okay. So is there a track that you really want to race at that you haven't gotten to yet?
I really want to race at like La Crosse, Wisconsin, because I think it'd be a lot of fun.
Okay. All right. And is that a dirt or asphalt track?
Asphalt.
Asphalt. Okay. All right. Sounds good. So I'm just looking here at my questions and make sure I don't miss something here that I want to talk to you about. When you're not racing and you're not doing archery, what else do you like to do for fun?
I like to like hang out with my friends if I can, or like just like spend time with my family.
Okay. So do you have a racing nickname?
Yeah, at Hawkeye Downs they called me Racing Rylie Mullin.
Okay, Racing Rylie Mullin. They usually have some kind of thing that rhymes or something like that. So, yeah. So this is a question for both of you. If a mom or a little girl came up and said, "Hey, I really would like to race," what would be your advice? So we're going to start with Rylie, and then Donelle, I want you to put some thoughts together too.
Okay.
I would just like tell them like, of course, make sure you have like all the safety, and like when it gets hard, like don't give up, because it does get difficult at sometimes, especially when like the car doesn't cooperate or the other people on the track are reckless. So I just say like don't give up.
Okay. And Donelle, from a mother's standpoint, what would be your suggestions to that mother?
My suggestion to the mom is just to stay calm and know that, if your child gets hit while they're out there and, you're worried that they're hurt, that the fire and safety and the ambulances are there for that reason, to take care of them, and to let them have fun, to let them go out there and get the experience. And like Rylie said, don't give up, because, there are those, being a girl, sometimes boys don't like to get beat by girls.
Right.
So, they do tend to push a little bit more, but it also pushes them to be that much better too.
Yeah, I agree. I think you're correct about that. Yeah. So Rylie, when you get in the car, is there a certain, like on race day, is there anything you always do? Like, do you have a superstition? Do you always wear the same thing? Do you always do the same things?
Some of it's a little different, but like I always wear my Crocs. That's like a thing I have to do. And like when I get in the car, I just have to remind myself that it's okay if I don't win, it's okay if I'm not perfect, and all that. Yeah.
And so when you're pulling out onto the track for like the warm-up laps prior to the flag dropping, what are you thinking about then?
I'm just like, when I get on the track, all of like my like nerves go away basically, and I'm just like focused on staying with the pack and staying up there and getting right there on the green. And sometimes I talk to my car.
Hey, don't laugh. For people that give their cars names, I know they talk to them. So you're not alone there. Does your car have a name?
My asphalt car, her name's Susan, and then my dirt car, her name's Judy.
And do you have a reason why you named him that, or that was just out of the blue?
It just came.
Okay. All right. So I know you haven't raced that many years, but do you have a most memorable moment so far?
Yeah, it was the first night I made tech because I was holding off cars and it was like the last lap, and when they pointed me into like the barn where they tech at, it was just like, it was so cool and everybody was there to congratulate me.
Okay, good. That's a good memory. It wasn't flipping over your car or anything, so that's good. So
Yeah, no.
yeah. Do you have any marketing partners that you want to mention, or is it mom and dad?
There's Cancun, Houlihan Memorial, there's All Seasons Automotive, Tony Ginther, and then my parents.
Okay, so you've got some marketing partners. That's good.
Oh, and there's Stratton Engineering. I can't forget about them.
Okay, all right. So I assume your mom and dad help you with the car. Is there anybody else that helps that you want to mention?
Logan and Larry Clausen, they help us a lot, and Brian Houlihan.
Okay, want to get those people's names in there too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So when your car, you're working on your car right now, trying to get it ready to go for the first races, whenever those are going to be. Are you pretty involved with doing that? Are you hands-on, or is it mostly the guys that actually do the work on the car?
It's mostly the guys.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So
She is learning. Yeah, she is learning some of it. They kind of make her, like, on race night, they'll make her check all of her tire pressure, stuff like that. But coming back from Rockford, like I said, she hit the wall pretty good. So we've had to replace quite a bit. And then another requirement, of the compact touring series is to have a fuel cell. So that's one of the things that we're working on right now with Brad Chandler.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. So, can you tell me, what's the best finish you've had and where was it?
So at Hawkeye Downs, it was 4th, and then at Dubuque, 3rd.
Oh, really good. Really good. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about the car you have. What kind of car is it? What color is it? Tell us a little bit about the car.
So my asphalt car, it has like a Penske font, and then it's black and red, and it has red racing stripes, and it's a Chevy Cavalier. And then my dirt car, she's she's kind of not that pretty, and she's just like a gunmetal gray kind of, and it's Acura Integra, and yeah, it's just basically gray, and then the numbers are like blue and red.
So what, are you the same number on both cars?
No, my asphalt car is number 12, and then my dirt car is 6 p.m.
6 p.m. Okay, so how did you pick those numbers?
So the 12, I was actually at Benton County Speedway, which is one of our local dirt tracks, and I was in the pits, and a tire came over the wheel fence, and it hit me like right here in the head and knocked me unconscious. And it was actually the 12 car, and it was on the 12th. And so I just thought it was kind of ironic, so that's why that's my number. And then the 6 p.m., it's because this car at Vinton is actually the 69M, and we used to like look at it a lot, and that's why I made it that. It kind of reversed the numbers.
Okay, that's cool. So you got hit in the head with a tire and it knocked you out. That's probably kind of an unusual thing to have happen. So
yeah,
you need to stay out of the way of those for sure, right?
Exactly. She actually ended up getting the tire from the driver. He felt horrible because it cleared the wheel fence. It actually hit a person like in the arm, and then hit an SUV, bounced off it, and then hit Riley.
Oh my gosh. That's one of those things that you see on TV that in a movie that you don't think is real, you know?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's I'm sorry you got knocked out, but that is kind of funny actually that
It
happened.
is.
Yeah. So are there other women, other females that race at your track at Hawkeye Downs where you've been racing?
There was one. Her name was Stacy Olson, but I'm not sure if she'll be racing again. But that was the only other one.
Okay, so you need more women to get involved out there in Iowa,
Yeah.
don't you? Yeah, absolutely. So, you're only 14. You're 14, right? 15.
15.
15.
Yeah.
So you're 15 years old, and so what are your goals for the future, both in racing and then, is there something that you really want to? Do you want to be a teacher? What do you really want to do when you're out of college or whatever?
So in racing, I would obviously like to win a race. And my main goal is basically just to like travel a lot and have a lot of fun. And in just like normal life, I'd like to go to college and then do something in like the medical field probably.
Okay, all right. Well, that would be somebody that'd be really needed at this point. That's the only thing that worries
Yeah.
me about that. But that's a good goal to have, and that's a good career to have too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what motivates you to go back to the racetrack after a week that maybe you didn't do so well? What's your motivation?
Basically my motivation is I just get to like see everybody and get like the encouragement from everybody else because they all support me, and it's just a lot of fun, and I just enjoy doing it because I like just being out there with everybody else and being a racer.
Okay. So Donelle, tell me, why does your family want to be involved in racing?
Well, Riley really loves it. It's one of the things that I never thought that she would ever do, because I would always be like, hey, let's go watch a race. And she'd be like, nope, not going to do it. Well, then, she actually got to see the cars go around, and she was like, this is pretty cool. I would like to see, I know her goal is to win a race and whatnot. I just want her to go out there, have fun. And I do think part of her motivation is, she may come in, let's say she made it to tech, she got 4th place. So I think her motivation every week is to do just a little bit better. And like she said, she talks to her car, like if her car, if her tire pressures aren't completely right or something, she's telling the car, you can't go this way, you can't go that way. So I like it because she has fun. I mean, it is an emotional thing too. So when, she's upset about it, it's just that we'll fix it and there's always next week. So
Yeah. There's a lot of life lessons, I feel like, when when you play sports, but especially racing, because there's more times that you're not going to win than you are going to win, probably. I mean, just statistics say that. And yet we keep going back, and we get beat up and our car gets hit and we have a flat tire and all the things that can go wrong. And yet we keep going back week after week for more punishment, if you will. I think for me, it's the people that I meet. I don't own or have any interest in a particular race car other than my granddaughter races. But it's the people that I keep going back for. It's the people that I see at the track. And I would guess you've made some good relationships there as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, that's a big part of it. I know. Yeah. So, I look at you, you're a pretty young girl, you're well spoken, you talk about racing, down the road, what kind of an impact do you want to leave on the people behind you? How do you want to lead the way, like for other women?
I just want to get like more people involved and show like that, like just because you're a girl, you can't go out there and race with them, and just to like stay motivated and make sure that it continues on and doesn't like end the sport, and just to like make other people motivated to get out there.
Yeah. It takes all of us. And if we just I always encourage people when race season's going on, just invite one new person. If you can take one new person every week to the excuse me, to the track, we'll have a lot of new followers, a lot of new race people. Yeah.
Exactly.
So let's learn a little bit about you, Rylie. Some of your favorites. As a little girl, did you play with cars or dolls?
I mainly played with like Hot Wheel cars, like on the track.
Okay, that should have been a clue there, Donelle. That she...
I know, right?
So what's your favorite holiday and why?
I like Christmas. I don't really know why. I just like the snow and like the Christmas lights, and it's just a lot of fun to be with my family.
Okay. If you could go to your favorite restaurant, which we can't right now, but what is your favorite food or restaurant?
Um, I like pulled pork sandwiches, but I can't really go to a lot of restaurants because I'm actually allergic to gluten. So
Okay.
I can't eat a lot. But if I can splurge, I like Texas Roadhouse.
Okay. Good place. Well, I like going there too. Other than racing, do you have another favorite sport or player or team? Like I'm a Cubs fan, so.
I don't really like watch a lot of sports.
Okay. You're not a Hawkeye fan? Not really.
I don't
Okay,
really.
that makes my day. Because I grew up in Illinois, and so Illinois and I were big rivals. So if you're not a Hawkeye fan, we can make you an Illini fan real quick. Do you have a favorite race car driver?
Not really. I am mainly inspired by like there's the Leah Roten, the one that races dirt here locally, and probably just like I don't know. That's kind of hard. There's so many of them.
Yeah. So, have you had driver's ed yet?
Yeah.
What did your driver's ed teacher think about you being a race car driver?
So I was actually on KCRG, and they did like a news thing about me. And my driver's ed teacher showed it in front of the entire class. And then he asked if he needed to wear a helmet when I was driving with him. So, yeah.
That's funny. Yeah. My granddaughter, she'll be 17 in July, so she obviously went through driver's training, and now my other granddaughter is going to be doing it. And, we always laughed and said, you should invite your driver's ed teacher to watch you race. And she was like, no, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Rylie and Donelle, I don't have any other questions for you, but is there anything that you would like to share about either, racing, being involved in racing, anything at all that I haven't talked to you about?
I would just like to say that hopefully we get through, what's going on in our country right now, because I know a lot of the racers are sitting out there and, they're itching to get out there in their cars. I mean, for safety reasons, obviously we cannot. That hopefully, we get some racing going on this summer. And also just to encourage, anyone being, mainly probably women, just that, don't give up on your hopes. If it's something that you actually want to try, go out there and do it. Just because you're a girl doesn't mean that you can't do it.
Yeah, exactly. And, we are going to get through this. The thing that concerns me the most is all the people that don't have jobs, restaurant workers, and there's just, the list goes on and on and on and on. We just talked about that, and there's not very many places that you can go right now to find a job. And if it is a job, it's probably going to be one that exposes you to other people. And so that's not always something that people are wanting to do if they can help it. I pray that all of our drivers and their families can go back to work, and that we can get back to the racetrack and resume some type of normal life as we knew it. And just just be able to go outside and go see our neighbors and do all those things that we took for granted, which I think is a good lesson for us, isn't it? That there were a lot of things that we took for granted, and now we're appreciating them.
Definitely. I mean, it makes it hard, when you go out, and now it's here in Iowa, we don't have a stay-at-home order yet. However, our governor just closed down a bunch of other stuff. But now they've gotten it to where, like at the store, it's one person, one cart, go in, get your, get your stuff and get out. And that's one of the, the things that I actually went out to get some groceries up at our local Hy-Vee store. And, people are standing around and talking. And it just made me kind of think that, you guys need to just get in there, get what you need, get out, call each other on the phone, if that's
Right.
how you need to communicate. So the sooner that we all kind of abide by those rules, maybe the sooner this will go away.
Yeah, absolutely. We've been under the stay home, stay safe order by our governor for 2 weeks now. And they're talking about making it 70 more days or whatever she's got in mind. I'm not sure. But until we, and Michigan's one of those states where Detroit's got a lot of cases. There's some cases on our side of the state, a few hundred, but it's still, you just never know. And so I've been very careful about going out and where I go and what I do. And I'll continue to do that probably for several months here moving forward. But
for sure. Yeah. We have them across Iowa here. I mean, I think it's pretty much almost I'm not, don't quote me, but I think it's almost in every county. And I know Lynn County, that's where we live. We have like the highest of the state.
Yeah, because you got a big city in there.
Well,
so
right.
That's why Detroit's got so many too. So I just want you guys to stay safe, stay healthy. I want to be able to watch you race this summer, Miss Rylie, because that'll be a lot of fun to see you do that. So why don't you just let us know, how can we follow you on social media so that if I want to know where you're going to be racing or how you did, how could we follow you?
So our Facebook is RM Racing, and is that all we have?
I have an Instagram page too, and I think it is RM Racing as well. It might have numbers.
It might be 12 after it.
Yeah, I think it's RM Racing 12 on Instagram. I'm a little more onto the Facebook side of it, so I just created the Instagram page, so I need to get on posting some stuff on that one too.
Yeah, actually, my youngest daughters are 30, 32 and 34, I think, or somewhere in that neighborhood. And they've been on me that, Instagram's the place to be, Mom. And so I've been trying to be better about it. So I encourage, especially Rylie, I think the younger generation more are on the Instagram. So we'll try to keep track of you on Facebook or Instagram as well. And on the IWMA page, whenever you share something, we'll try to share it with our followers so that they can keep track of what you're doing. But I just want to wish you the best of luck this summer. I know we're going to get back to racing. Oh my gosh. I hope so badly. We're supposed to be at Iowa Speedway in June, which isn't looking very promising. We're supposed to be at Iowa Speedway on June 12th and Knoxville on the 13th, but I don't know if that's going to happen or not. So we'll see. But thanks for being on here with us today. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for having us, and you stay safe there too, and stay healthy. And we'll be seeing you this summer at some point, I'm sure.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you, ladies.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Good job. That was good. Thank you.
That was fun.
Spending time with her husband, friends, family, including her 12 grandchildren. In her spare time, she connects and celebrates with the women involved in motorsports, taking you behind the wall about their journey of life, racing, and how they juggle everything to make it all work. Welcome to Racing Girls Rock Podcast. Strap in, window nets up, the pedals are down, and when the green flag drops, we go.